Hi there everyone. This is a shortish video. It's a review, some feedback and my experiences of bipods in general from various different rifles, and it's a little review of the UTG Super Duty Bipod, which has the Picatinny swivel stud and quick release. Okay, so before I get on to the UTG and show it being used, these are my existing bipods. They're nigh on identical, but they're just about indivisible. One cost me about 80 quid from a UK website. One cost me 20 quid from Amazon, but they're damn near indivisible. It's very, very difficult to tell them apart. They both have, to me, a flaw in that to attach them to the sling swivel stud on the underside of your fore end, you back off the screw. Oh, by the way, there's normally a pair of rubber protectors on here to avoid marking the underside of your fore end of your rifle stock. But basically, back that screw right off so that, there we go, as open as you can get them, and the two pins here, latch them onto the forward bipod stud, and then you carefully sort of tighten it down at the back. And if I just turn this, you'll see, hopefully, you'll see them closing up, and they then grip the bipod stud and they grip the underside of the stock. But I have had many times, I've had a problem with these fellas, either one of them coming off and detaching, and they're a bit of a fiddle to get them on and off the rifle. But then I fancied a quick release bipod if possible. I'm not bothered at all with having a Picatinny bracket on the forward of my rifle, so that doesn't bother me at all. So I spoke to Ash at Custom Hunting, and I'll put the link to where I bought the bipod down below. And I bought this fella a week or two ago. Consider me very impressed. So I'll show you how this attaches. You can see from the fore end, there's a few marks from the bipods having been attached and detached over time, partly because the rubber protectors become detached and are lost. This fella has a rubber protector bonded onto it, but the idea is I'm going to keep this on the rifle long term. So with the protector, you get a sheet of instructions. I'll create a Flickr album and put a link to that down below, so you can see the HD photos, and also you can see a scan of the instructions. So you have a nice clean Picatinny mounting plate with a sort of a keyway of sorts and a rubber protector. And you still want a sling swivel stud. You get a threaded stud with a crossbar. So I undo the crossbar, and this has a head for a crosshead screwdriver. You'll see on one side of this there's a small hole which is threaded and a larger hole on the other side. So if I pop loosely over the top, drop the screw through, I can feel the screw coming through on the other side. Get my trusty Swiss Army knife, tighten this up. So this is all still loose for the time being. Right, so that's still wobbling around, but it's now captive. It's now locked in place. So we take the Picatinny clamp, put it over, and take the locking collar, locking ring, which is knurled on the outside, and it's got an inner side and an outer side. So, and it's threaded on the inside to match this. Screw that down over the top. It's about 20mm diameter, so easy to get a finger purchase on that. And yep, that's just about perfectly symmetrical. So that finger tight, and there is a keyway, as you can see there. So if need be, you can take an Allen key and tighten it around. But I'm not planning to take this off. In fact, what I could also do what I might do to give myself more forend to grip the rifle, I'm going to put it this way around, so you've got flexibility there as well. Put it over the top. It's all wobbling, but as long as your original stock screw is solid, that's all you need. So line that up, check underneath. Yep, that's pretty central. Tighten it a little bit further, then bring over the bipod. Now the bipod it's not a lightweight thing. It's pretty solidly made. Let's just show you. That's 400 grams, and it feels very well made. It feels very solid. There's nothing rattly on this, and actually the springs are very strong, so it's far easier to extend or retract the bipod legs when it's on your rifle. Trust me, because you don't want to get your fingers trapped in here while you're extending or retracting it. So now we get to the good bit. If I turn the rifle around, dispense with the old bipods. And here's one I prepared earlier. You've got a bar through the center. That prevents the bipod sliding. So that sort of keys it in to the Picatinny bracket. And pop it just over the top. Lock it in place. And that's it, that's solid. You get an Allen key with it. And once the QD lever is locked in place, you can tighten the Allen key. And once you've done that, it comes on and off as easy as that. If I just do it almost one-handed, pop that on, lock it in place, solid. So now I can extend the legs more easily, stand the rifle up, and that's nice and solid. And my sling can now just, so that's now locked in place on the underside, on the extended swivel stud, and that's a nice solid lockup. And in addition to that, if I just leave it out here to show you, you can pull the legs out and you can see there's a sprung lever there. So the legs can go in by pressing on the button, or you can simply pull them out in increments of, it's about half-inch increments. If I just pull it the other side. Okay. In addition to being able to adjust the leg in sort of half-inch increments, what you can also do is extend each leg, and in between the locking increments you can turn the little dial here. There's one on each leg. You can turn the dial and lock it wherever you like. So you can lock it for angled surfaces when you're lying prone or resting prone, for example. I can't shoot prone anyway because I'm disabled and my back just won't take it, but for bench resting at the club, this is going to be perfect. Very quick to release and reset via the QD, and I'm going to leave this Picatinny bracket in place. According to the packaging, there's 15 degrees of pan available. I've not been able to get this thing to pan. There's a 6mm Allen bolt on the back in the center, and this is pretty solid. I can get it to moves slightly, but it's very stiff. There is also, if I extend the fella, there is also in the back here, there is a 2mm grub screw, but that is locked pretty solid as well. So it could be that if this was unlocked, now that's locked pretty solid. Could be that if this was unlocked, I could perhaps loosen the 6mm Allen bolt slightly and allow it to pan slightly more freely. But at the moment, all intents and purposes, it's locked. My own preference, I'd rather there was tilt or cant facility built in, as there was in the older bipods. But this is so much easier to attach and detach. You do have to watch when you extend the legs that they're a little bit noisy because of the strength of the retainer spring on the catch. So if you hold the catch down when you extend them or retract them, then you're not going to spook your prey. If you're shooting prone off a bipod, you're likely to get your bipod sorted at the start of the session. So that's the downside of it. It has a little bit of lateral panning built in, although this one is too stiff to use, rather than tilt. But for me, this is a huge improvement for bench rest, for quickly attaching and detaching the bipod from the rifle. All the while, my sling can stay attached, courtesy of the Picatinny bracket having a sling swivel stud. I'll pass the feedback back to Ash to pass back to UTG, but for less than 30 quid, great bit of kit. And this size is the TL BP98Q, and it's 6" to 8.5" height. If I'm going to the range, I'm going to do a 0 session. It's so quick to detach and attach, brilliant. But just wanted to share this with you. Weighs about a pound and very, very solidly made. So that's the UTG bipod fitted via the Picatinny quick release. Awesome piece of kit, and hopefully I can soon order one of these in the higher format for lower bench rest tables. It's not the sort of thing I'm going to use out and about on my permissions. I use the trigger sticks for that. But very nice piece of kit, and the quick release really does work.